I won $9.2 million in the lottery. My family didn't know, and keeping that secret was the single best decision I ever made. My name is Chloe Evans. For 30 years, I was the dependable one. I was the good daughter, the reliable sister. I was the one who solved problems, paid for things, and cleaned up everyone else's messes. I was their financial and emotional safety net. I spent 3 decades learning that for my family, love always came with an invoice. Every phone call was a prelude to a request. Every "I love you" was followed by an "I need." When I saw those matching numbers on my ticket, my first thought was to call them. My hand was right there, hovering over my mom's contact. But then I paused. I could hear their voices in my head. The manufactured joy, the gears turning in their minds. I could feel the entitlement. And for the very first time in my life, I chose silence. I learned that silence could be its own kind of strength, its own kind of rebellion. This isn't really a story about money. It's a story about what I had to do to save myself from the very people who were supposed to love me unconditionally. Before we dive in, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment below telling me, where in the world are you watching from? Growing up in our house in suburban Pennsylvania, I learned early on that love wasn't a given. It was something you earned. Or in my sister's case, it was something you were simply handed. For me, it was a transaction. My mother, Laura, was the matriarch of the house. She wasn't loud or aggressive. Her method was far more insidious. She was quiet, gentle, and ruled our lives with a thick, suffocating blanket of guilt. Her manipulation was artfully disguised as maternal concern. Everything she did was for the family. Every demand was because she loved us. My sister, Maya, was her masterpiece. Maya was 2 years younger, with a bright smile and an artistic soul. She was the sensitive one. She was the one who just couldn't handle stress. In our family, Maya was treated like a rare, delicate flower. She was coddled, shielded, and absolved of all wrongdoing. When Maya failed a class in high school, my mother said the teacher was unfair. When Maya dented her first car, my mother insisted the parking lines were painted confusingly. I was the responsible one. That was my official title. Chloe is the responsible one. Chloe will take care of it. Chloe understands. It began with small things. When we were kids, Maya would get a brand new bike for getting a C+ average. I would bring home a report card of straight A's, and my mother would give me a quick pat on the head and say, "That's wonderful, dear. Now, can you go help your sister with her math homework? She's feeling so overwhelmed." I was her on-call babysitter, her tutor, her maid. "Chloe, can you clean the kitchen? Your sister had a really tough day." Maya's tough day usually consisted of a trip to the mall with friends. My easy day typically involved a long shift at the local diner after a full day of classes. College was when the financial bleeding truly started. I went to a state school. I lived in a cramped, drafty apartment with 2 roommates. I juggled 2 jobs to cover my tuition, my books, and my food. I worked the opening shift at a campus coffee shop, starting at 5 a.m. My clothes perpetually smelled of stale coffee and disinfectant. After my classes, I worked at the university library, reshelving books until it closed. I survived on instant ramen and sometimes slept in my coat because our apartment's heating was a joke. Maya went to a small private arts college a few towns over. My parents paid for her entire tuition. My parents paid for her charming single dorm room. They gave her a credit card for emergencies. For Maya, an emergency could be anything from a new pair of designer jeans to a last-minute weekend trip or concert tickets. I'll never forget a call I got from her one night. I was hunched over a textbook, my fingers numb from the cold apartment. "Chloe, oh my God, I'm literally having a meltdown," she whispered dramatically. My heart seized. What is it? Are you okay? I maxed out the card, she wailed. And I have to get this dress for the spring formal. Mom said the bank must have messed something up. But Dad won't call them until the morning. Can you just Venmo me $400? I swear I'll pay you back. I glanced at my bank account on my phone. I had $420 in it. That was my entire budget for food and gas for the next 3 weeks. Maya, I can't. I'm broke. You always say that, she snapped, her voice suddenly losing its panicked edge. You have a job. I don't. It's so unfair. You're so selfish. She hung up on me. An hour later, my mother called. Chloe, I am deeply disappointed in you, she said, her voice dripping with cold judgment. Your sister is all alone, and she reached out to you for a little bit of help, and you turned your back on her. She's in tears. What is wrong with you? We are a family. Family helps family. Mom, I have $420 to my name. That's all I have. I need to eat. Don't be so dramatic, Chloe. You can come home and eat this weekend. Just send her the money. I don't want her to be distressed. I sent her the money. I ate plain toast and oatmeal for 2 weeks. Maya never said thank you. She just posted a dozen photos of herself in the new dress, looking radiant. By the time I turned 30, taking care of my family was my full-time, unpaid second job. I was a project manager at a decent marketing firm. I was good at what I did. I worked hard, I was frugal, I was responsible, and they knew it. I kept a spreadsheet. I'm a practical person. I started it when I was 25, just to track where all my money was going. In 5 years, I had given them over $75,000. It wasn't in large sums. It was a death by 1,000 cuts. $3,000 for Maya's security deposit and first month's rent on an apartment she couldn't afford. $800 for Maya's car repairs. $4,000 to pay off Maya's credit card debt. Again. She just gets so confused by the interest rates, poor thing. $600 because my dad's commission check was delayed and they were a little short on the mortgage. $450 a month, every single month, for Maya's car payment. Because she couldn't find a job that truly valued her creative spirit. Every family dinner had a financial ambush waiting at the end. My mother would wait until I was putting on my coat to leave. Chloe, honey, she'd begin, her hand gently touching my arm. I know money is tight for everyone right now, but your sister, she's just so sensitive to all this financial pressure. It would be such a tremendous help if you could, and I always did. Because I was the responsible one, because I held on to the foolish hope that maybe, this time, if I fixed their problem, they would finally look at me and ask, Chloe, how are you doing? Are you okay? They never asked. I wasn't their daughter. I was their solution. I was a household appliance. I was the family ATM. And the worst part was the profound loneliness. I went on dates, but I never let anyone get truly close. How could I ever explain my family? How could I explain that I was 30 years old with a good career, but I couldn't afford a real vacation because my 28-year-old sister needed money for a spiritual retreat to find herself? I was trapped. I was exhausted, and I was completely and utterly alone. It was a Tuesday in October. The sky was a flat, miserable gray. The air was damp, and it was the kind of cold that seeps right into your bones. It was a perfectly ordinary, dreadful day. I had just left a meeting that ran an hour over schedule. My boss was pushing up a major deadline, and I had a voicemail from my mother that I was too afraid to listen to. I knew Maya's rent was due at the end of the week. I knew exactly what the call was about. My car's gas light was on. I pulled my old dented sedan into a brightly lit convenience store. The sign also promised hot coffee. I desperately needed coffee. I went inside to pay for my gas. The clerk behind the counter looked just as tired as I felt. While I waited for my card to process, my eyes drifted to the Powerball sign. The jackpot was some astronomical, life-shattering number. I never played the lottery. It always seemed like such a frivolous waste of money. I was the person who budgeted, who saved, who clipped coupons. But on that particular day, I was just so bone-tired. I was tired of being responsible. I was tired of my beat-up car, my non-existent savings account, and the knot of dread in my stomach every time my phone rang. And one Powerball ticket, I said on a whim. Just a quick pick. It was $2. $2 for a fleeting fantasy. $2 for a moment of what if. I shoved the small slip of paper into my purse, grabbed my coffee, and drove back to the office. I forgot about it the second I sat down at my desk. The drawing was on Wednesday. I had no idea. On Friday, I took my lunch break in my car. I couldn't face the forced cheerfulness of the office break room. I was eating a sad, pre-packaged salad. I was mindlessly scrolling through my phone, deliberately ignoring my mother's texts. "Chloe, please call me. It's important." I saw a local news alert pop up on my screen. Powerball winner sold in Philadelphia. My heart gave a stupid little flutter. Couldn't be me, I thought. But my hand instinctively went to my purse. I pulled out the crumpled ticket. I opened the lottery app on my phone. I entered the numbers one by one. The first number matched. 8. That's kind of neat. The second number matched. 19. No way. The third number matched. 27. My hands started to tremble. The fourth number matched. 44. This isn't real. The fifth number matched. 51. I stopped breathing. The Powerball matched. 12. The app flashed with bright, celebratory text. "Congratulations, you are a jackpot winner." I just stared at the screen. The salad sat forgotten in my lap. The world outside my car window seemed to vanish. There was no sound. There was no air. It felt like my head was underwater. The app said the cash payout option was $9.2 million after taxes. $9.2 million. I sat in my car for what felt like an eternity. I didn't move. I just stared at the phone. Then I laughed. It was a strange, sharp sound that I didn't recognize. And then I started to cry. I cried so hard I couldn't catch my breath, gasping for air with my head resting on the steering wheel, my entire body shaking. It was a tidal wave of relief, of terror, of freedom. My old life was over. My new life was just beginning. My very first instinct, the one that had been programmed into me since I was a child, was, I have to call Mom. I can fix everything. I can pay off their mortgage. I can buy Maya a condo. I can get my dad that new truck he wants. I can solve every single one of their problems. They will finally love me. They will finally be proud of me. They will finally say I'm a good daughter. My thumb hovered over her name in my contacts. Mom. And then, like a film projector flickering to life in my mind, I saw it. I saw exactly how it would play out. I would call. She would scream. Then she would cry. "We're rich," she would say. "We, not you, we." Within 10 minutes, Maya would be on the phone. "Oh my God, Chloe, I'm ordering a new car, a white Range Rover. No, a Porsche, and we are all going to Bora Bora." My dad would get on the line, his voice booming. "That's my girl. I always knew you'd take care of us." Before I even had the chance to cash the ticket, the money would no longer be mine. It would be theirs. My mother would help me manage it. She would insist on setting up a joint account just to make things easier. My sister's needs would suddenly inflate to six-figure needs. My parents' retirement plan would become my problem. Their debts would become my debts. They would drain me. They would suck every last drop of joy and freedom from this moment. And they wouldn't even say thank you. They would say it was their right. They would say it was what family does. The money would just be a bigger, more powerful version of the $75,000 I'd already given them. It would consume my entire life. I looked at my thumb, still hovering over her name. I thought about the last time I had good news. I'd gotten a small promotion at work. I had called my mom, so excited to tell her. "That's nice, honey," she had said, clearly distracted. "Listen, speaking of money, Maya's car insurance payment is due. My $9.2 million wouldn't be a blessing. It would be a gilded cage." My crying stopped. My hand was still shaking, but it wasn't from shock anymore. It was from anger, a deep cold rage that I didn't even know I possessed. I was 30 years old, and I finally understood. My family didn't love me. They loved what I provided for them. And if I made this call, I would be their servant for the rest of my life. I pressed the lock button on the side of my phone. The screen went dark. And for the first time in my entire existence, I didn't make the call. I put the ticket in my wallet, put my wallet in my locked glove compartment, started my car, and drove back to work. I had a secret, a terrible, beautiful secret. For 3 days, I felt like a ghost. I went to work. I sat in meetings. I smiled at my colleagues. I went home. I microwaved my dinner. All while the slip of paper worth $9.2 million sat in my glove compartment like a ticking time bomb. I couldn't sleep. I just lay in bed, my heart hammering against my ribs. My secret felt enormous, like it was a physical presence in the room with me. I was terrified of losing the ticket. I was terrified of cashing it. I was terrified of my family finding out. On the third night, I was on my laptop until 3 a.m. I wasn't looking at mansions or luxury cars. I was Googling what to do when you win the lottery, how to claim lottery winnings anonymously, and best lottery lawyers in Pennsylvania. That's how I found Eleanor Vance. Her website wasn't flashy. It was all dark wood colors and serious professional text. Her specialty was wealth management and complex asset protection. She had published articles about sudden wealth syndrome and high-conflict family trusts. Her photo showed a woman in her late 50s with piercing eyes, and her hair pulled back so tightly it looked like it hurt. She looked like she didn't tolerate any nonsense. She was perfect. I used my lunch break the next day. I sat in my car, in that very same convenience store parking lot where I'd bought the ticket, and I called her office. My voice came out as a whisper. "I'd like to make an appointment with Miss Vance," I said. "It's regarding a financial matter, a sudden financial matter." The receptionist was perfectly calm. She must have gotten these kinds of calls before. She booked me for the following afternoon. Eleanor's office was in the most prestigious building in the city center. It was completely silent. The carpet was so thick my shoes made no sound as I walked. I sat in the waiting room clutching my purse. I felt like a total fraud. I was a woman in a $50 blazer from a department store, carrying a secret that could probably buy the entire building. When Eleanor called my name, I flinched. Her office was stunning, with a panoramic view of the river. She didn't smile, but she wasn't unkind. She simply motioned to a plush leather chair. "So," she said, settling in behind a massive mahogany desk, "a sudden financial matter?" I couldn't speak, I just nodded. How sudden, and how significant. My mouth was bone dry. I opened my purse, took out the lottery ticket, and slid it across the vast expanse of the desk. Eleanor picked it up. She glanced at it. She then looked at the official lottery website on her monitor. She looked back at me. Her expression didn't change one bit. $9.2 million, she stated, as if we were discussing the weather. "Congratulations, Miss Evans." Or, "My condolences." In my experience, it's usually one or the other. And then I broke. I haven't told anyone, I whispered. I haven't told my family. I don't think I can. I told her everything. I told her about Maya. I told her about my mother. I told her about the $75,000, the constant phone calls, the guilt. I told her about my life as the responsible one. I cried. I couldn't stop. I was so mortified, sobbing in this stranger's expensive, immaculate office. Eleanor just listened. She didn't interrupt. She just steepled her fingers and watched me. When I finally sputtered to a stop, she was quiet for a long moment. "Well," she said, her voice firm and steady, "you are right to be concerned. In my 30 years of practice, I have seen far more lives ruined by sudden wealth than saved by it." She leaned forward. "Let me tell you a secret, Chloe. Most lottery winners don't lose their fortunes to bad investments or fast cars. They lose it to family. They are bled dry by third cousins they haven't seen in 20 years, by siblings who suddenly have a can't-miss business idea, and by parents who feel they are owed a permanent, lavish retirement." She said, "They will cease to see you as a person. They will see you as a bank, an ATM that bleeds." Her words struck me like a physical blow. An ATM that bleeds. That's exactly what I was. "What do I do?" I asked, my voice trembling. "First," she said, "we claim this. We will establish an ironclad blind trust. Your name will not be on it. The public will never know you won. The money will be shielded, safe, and entirely under your control. Second," she said, "you do nothing." I blinked. "Nothing? You don't tell your family, not yet. You want to, I can see it in your eyes. You feel guilty. You feel like you're betraying them by not handing them this money. You still crave their approval." She was reading my mind. "So we conduct an experiment, you and I. For the next 6 months, you will stay quiet. You will keep your job. You will keep driving your old sedan. You will keep living in your apartment. You will change nothing," she continued, "and you will watch. When your mother calls for money, when your sister has an emergency, you will observe them. You will see precisely how they treat you when they believe you have nothing. You feel guilty, Chloe. Let's find out if your guilt is warranted. Let's gather the data." It was the most logical, cold, and brilliant thing I had ever heard. "An experiment," I repeated. "Yes, you're a project manager. Think of this as market research. Your family is the focus group, and the product is your love." I felt a massive, crushing weight lift from my shoulders. She had given me a plan. She had given me permission to do the one thing I was too terrified to do on my own. "Wait." I handed her the ticket. She locked it in a heavy-duty safe. "I'll have the trust documents ready for you to sign tomorrow," she said. I left her office feeling powerful. The $9.2 million was no longer a time bomb. It was a shield. It was my invisible armor. The experiment began. I would keep working. I would keep driving my dented car. I would keep saying, "I can't afford that," and I would watch. The first test came just a few weeks later. It was minor. Maya sent me a text. "Hey, my password for your HBO account isn't working." The old me would have immediately apologized, fixed it, and probably offered to pay for her subscription on top of my own. The new me, the me with the invisible shield, typed back, "Oh, I had to cancel that. Money's tight this month." The 3 dots appeared instantly, then vanished, then appeared again. Finally, her reply, "Ugh, seriously? That's so annoying. Now I have to use Mom's." Fine. There was no, "Oh no, are you okay? No, is everything all right with work?" Just annoyance. She was inconvenienced. I wrote it down in a small notebook, just as Eleanor had suggested. Test 1, streaming service. Result, annoyance. Concern for self, not subject. The next test was bigger. April, my mother's birthday. We all went out to a chain restaurant for dinner, the kind with sticky menus and complimentary bread. I gave my mother her gift. I had spent a lot of time on it. It was a beautiful, custom-framed photo album I had made, filled with restored pictures of her and her parents and photos from our childhood. It was personal and thoughtful. "Oh, Chloe," she said, forcing that tight smile I knew so well. "That's nice. Very creative." She set it aside. Then Maya presented her gift. It was a weekend getaway to a spa. It was flashy, expensive, and I knew for a fact that she had charged it to our parents' credit card. "Oh, Maya," my mother gasped, her hands flying to her chest. "You shouldn't have. You are just the most generous girl in the world." She hugged her. She cried real tears. I just ate my pasta and watched them. It was like seeing the whole dynamic in high definition for the first time. Later that night, my mother cornered me by the coat rack as we were leaving. "Chloe, honey," she said in that soft, conspiratorial whisper. She touched my arm. "Here it comes," I thought. "I know Maya's gift was a bit extravagant," she said, "but she's just so generous, you know. She has such a big heart." "It was a lovely gift," I said, my voice flat. "Yes. Well, the thing is, she's a little short on her rent this month. You know how she is. She spent her rent money on me instead." She laughed, as if this was a charming character trait. "Could you just spot her 300 for my birthday? It would just make me so happy to know she's not stressing." I looked at her. I really looked at her. Her eyes were hopeful but calculating. She was weaponizing her own birthday and my sister's fake generosity to extract money from me. My $9.2 million sat in a trust fund. I could have bought her the entire apartment building. But this was the experiment. I handed over the cash. I had to see the cycle through to the very end. Her face lit up. The switch was flipped. "You are such a good daughter, Chloe," she beamed, squeezing my arm. "The responsible one. I always know I can count on you." The warm smile was back. The transaction was complete. I went home and wrote in my notebook, "Test 2, Mom's birthday. Result, guilt-tripped for $300. Love is conditional upon payment. May brought the biggest test yet." Maya got engaged. Her boyfriend, a guy who had been finding himself for the better part of a decade, finally proposed. Maya called me, screaming with excitement, and for a fleeting second, I felt a genuine spark of happiness for her. Maybe this would change things. "Chloe, I'm engaged." "Maya, that's amazing. Congratulations." "I know, right?" she gushed. "Now, about the wedding. We're thinking Tuscany, a small, intimate wedding, just like 100 people. And I need you to be my maid of honor, obviously. And I already found the perfect dress online." "Oh, wow, Maya. Italy, that's—" "I know. Anyway, the dress is only $6,000. I was thinking you could just buy it for me as my wedding gift, since you're, the one with the good job. It would mean so much to me." I froze. $6,000. She said it like she was asking for $60. She wasn't asking, she was telling. It was an expectation. My blood went cold. "Maya, I can't," I said, my voice quiet. The happy gushing on the other end of the line stopped. Dead silence. "What?" she said, her voice sharp. "I can't afford that, Maya. That's several months of rent for me. I can't just buy you a $6,000 dress. Are you kidding me?" she said, her voice flat and mean. "It's my wedding, Chloe. This is a once-in-a-lifetime thing. Don't you want me to be happy? Of course I do. But I don't have $6,000 to spend on a dress." "You are so selfish," she hissed. "You've always been this way. You're just jealous. You're jealous that I'm getting married and I'm happy and you're not." She hung up on me. I stared at my phone. Jealous. Me, the one who had paid for her car, her rent, her food. I was jealous. I wrote in my notebook. Test 3, the wedding dress. Result: called selfish and jealous for refusing a $6,000 request. My mother called an hour later. Chloe, I need you to apologize to your sister. You made her cry. You ruined her special day. I didn't even argue. I can't talk right now, Mom. I hung up. The experiment was working, but it was killing me. Every test confirmed what I already knew deep down, and it hurt more every time. By the time Thanksgiving rolled around, I was the family pariah. I had refused 2 more requests for money for the wedding. My mother was giving me the silent treatment. My father, Richard, who usually just stayed out of it, looked at me with open disappointment. We were all gathered around the dinner table. The tension was so thick you could cut it with a knife. My father mumbled a short, uninspired grace. Then my mother stood up, holding her wine glass. Her eyes were red-rimmed. "I just want to propose a toast," she said, her voice trembling just enough to command sympathy. "I want to say how thankful I am for family." She looked directly at me, for the parts of my family that understand what that word truly means, for children who know what it means to support each other, to be there for their parents and for their siblings, no matter what. It wasn't a toast, it was a public execution. "It's just so important that we all pull our own weight," she continued, her eyes locked on mine. Some of us are just more generous than others. Some of us understand that family is about sacrifice. The old Chloe would have been in tears. The old Chloe would have apologized, run to the ATM, and offered to pay for the entire wedding just to make this humiliation stop. But the new Chloe just held her wine glass. I looked right back at her. I didn't flinch. I saw her for what she was, a performer, a manipulator, and I was her only intended audience. I took a sip of my wine. Internally, I said, "The experiment is over." Eleanor was right. Their love was 100% transactional, and I was done paying. I was done. The experiment was over. I had all the data I needed. My family was a black hole of need, and I was done being their light. After that Thanksgiving, I went quiet. I didn't just stop offering help. I stopped answering. When Maya texted me about a deposit for a wedding venue, I just replied, "I can't help you." I didn't offer an excuse. I didn't say I was broke. Just, I can't. The rage that came back was instantaneous. I got a long, furious text from her about how I was a bitter, selfish spinster. I didn't reply. My mother called. I let it go to voicemail. The message was long and tearful, all about how disappointed she was, how Maya was crying, how I was ruining this special time for everyone. I deleted it. For 9 months, my life was a strange, dual reality. By day, I was Chloe Evans, the quiet project manager. I went to work. I drove my old sedan. I ate my packed lunches. In secret, I was the woman with $9.2 million. I had regular meetings with Eleanor Vance. The money was safe, sitting in an ironclad trust. It was growing. It was mine. The silence from my family lasted for a while. They were punishing me, waiting for me to break, to come crawling back with my checkbook, desperate for their affection. I didn't break. I was just peaceful. It was the first time in my adult life I wasn't anxious every time my phone buzzed. Then, one afternoon in July, the phone rang. It was my mom. I almost ignored it. But 9 months had passed. A tiny, stupid part of me thought, maybe she's just calling to say hi. I answered. "Hi, Mom. Chloe?" Her voice was wrong. It was a choked, broken sob. My stomach instantly clenched. "Chloe, oh God. Mom, what's wrong? What happened?" It's the doctor, honey." She broke down in a way I had never heard before. This wasn't her usual guilt trip crying. This was raw, terrified panic. "What doctor? Mom, talk to me. I have it," she wailed. "A major blockage. My heart. They said I need emergency surgery." "What? Where are you?" What do you need? I'll be there. The money, Chloe, she sobbed. I'm so scared. The insurance, it won't cover all of it. They won't schedule the surgery until we pay the deposit. They need $40,000. $40,000 or they won't do it. They're just going to let me die. She was hysterical. I could hear my dad yelling something in the background. I don't have it, Chloe, she screamed into the phone. We're going to lose the house. I'm going to die because we don't have $40,000. I leaned against the wall of my office hallway. I couldn't breathe. $40,000, it was nothing. It was a rounding error in my trust account. Mom, calm down, I said, my heart pounding. I'll figure it out. I'll get it. You're going to have the surgery. It's okay. Oh, Chloe, thank you, she cried, the relief in her voice so thick it was suffocating. You're my good girl. I knew I could count on you. I told your father, Chloe will save us. She's the responsible one. You're my lifesaver. You're literally saving my life. I hung up. I stood in the hallway for 10 minutes, my chest feeling like it was going to collapse. I was going to give her the money. Of course I was. I was going to call Eleanor and have her wire it immediately. But as I walked back to my desk, my hands were shaking so hard I couldn't hold my keys. Something was wrong. Dr. Miller. She had given a name. They won't schedule the surgery until we pay. It felt off. It was a detail that was too specific. It sounded like a line from a bad TV drama, not a real hospital. My 9 months of training kicked in. The cold, logical part of my brain, the part that Eleanor had helped me build, pushed past the panic. Gather the data. I sat at my desk. My heart was still pounding. I felt sick. I felt like a monster for even thinking it. But what if? I Googled Dr. Miller Cardiology Philadelphia. A name popped up. Dr. Arthur Miller, Penn Medicine. I looked at the number. I picked up my phone, my hands slick with sweat. I called the main line for the cardiology department. A kind voice answered, Penn Cardiology, this is Brenda. Hi, I said, my voice small. I'm calling about my mother, Laura Evans. She's a patient of Dr. Miller. Okay. Is this about an appointment? Yes, she has a surgery scheduled, an urgent one. I'm her daughter, and I'm handling the billing. I need to make a payment, a large one, for $40,000. Silence on the other end. One moment, let me check her file, Brenda said. I heard typing. It felt like an hour. Laura Evans, Brenda said, her voice now slightly confused. Yes, Mrs. Evans is a patient of Dr. Miller's, but I'm not seeing any surgery scheduled, and I certainly don't see any prepayment due. My blood turned to ice. What? No, that can't be right. She has a critical heart condition. She just found out. She needs urgent surgery. Brenda's voice became very professional. Ma'am, I am not permitted to discuss a patient's diagnosis over the phone. But I can tell you, there is no surgery on the schedule, and there is no $40,000 balance on this account. I see her last visit was 2 weeks ago for a routine checkup, and her account has a zero balance. The phone slid from my ear. I caught it before it hit the desk. No critical condition, no surgery, a routine checkup. My mother had faked a life-threatening heart condition to get $40,000 from me. I don't remember the drive home. I think I sat in my car in the parking garage for a long time. The sick feeling was still there, but it wasn't panic anymore. It was disgust. It was a deep, profound, and final wave of hatred. I walked into my apartment and called her. She answered on the first ring, her voice still thick with fake tears. Chloe, did you get it? Did you call the bank? I was calm. My voice was like ice. I had never heard myself sound like this before. I spoke to Dr. Miller's office, I said. The silence on the other end of the line was deafening. It was a loud, total, and complete void. I don't know what you mean, she finally whispered. I called billing, I said, my voice dead. I told them I was paying the $40,000 for your surgery. They were very confused. Because there is no surgery. There is no critical heart condition. There is just a routine checkup from 2 weeks ago. The silence stretched again. And then the sound. It was sobbing. But it wasn't the I'm scared sobbing from before. It was the I got caught sobbing. Chloe, no. You don't understand. I understand perfectly. The pressure, she shrieked, her voice suddenly turning to rage. The bills, your sister's wedding, we're drowning. And you have that good job and you cut us off. You abandoned us. I didn't know what else to do. I was desperate. She was blaming me for her lie about dying. I waited until she was done screaming. Then I said the words, the ones that had been sitting in my chest for a decade. I won't give you another cent. I paused. Ever. I hung up. My phone immediately rang again. I looked. Dad, I answered. I wanted to hear it. Chloe, what did you say to your mother? He boomed. He wasn't sad. He was furious. She's a complete mess. Why do you have to make everything so difficult? I just stared at the wall. He was in on it. Of course he was. He was always in on it. He was the enabler. He was the one who looked the other way. She faked a heart attack, Dad. You don't understand the pressure she's under, he yelled. This wedding, your sister, you've just been so selfish. You're tearing this family apart, Chloe. All of this is your fault, my fault. I didn't say goodbye. I just hung up the phone. I opened my contacts. I scrolled to Mom. I pressed block this caller. A small pop-up asked, Are you sure? I pressed block. I scrolled to Dad. I pressed block this caller. Block. The silence in my apartment was total. It was the sound of chains breaking. It was the sound of freedom. And it was the sound of being, finally and completely, an orphan. After I blocked my parents, my world became quiet. It was a loud, heavy quiet. I had cut off the infection, but the wound was still there. I went to work. I went home. I had my meetings with Eleanor. I started making plans. I was saving money from my job, not the trust, to move. I was looking at apartments in Seattle. I just needed to get away from Pennsylvania, away from the state that held all my ghosts. Then, about 2 weeks after the lie, a text came through from a number I didn't recognize. Chloe, it's Maya. I'm using my fiancé's phone. Mom and Dad are a mess. We need to talk. Just us. Please, just us. The classic manipulator's trick. Isolate the target. The old Chloe would have been flooded with guilt. The new Chloe was just curious. What was the next play? What could possibly come after faking a terminal illness? I was in the final stage of Eleanor's experiment. I had to see the data. I texted back, where? She named a trendy, expensive coffee shop downtown, the kind of place I would never go. Typical, I thought. We agreed to meet Saturday afternoon. I got there first. I ordered a simple black coffee and sat at a small table in the corner. Maya walked in 5 minutes late. She was dressed up. She was wearing new boots, a designer coat, and her engagement ring was catching all the light. She looked like a woman who didn't have a care in the world, not like a woman who had just participated in a lie about her mother dying. She saw me and smiled a big, sweet, innocent smile. Chloe! Oh, thank God you came, she said, sliding into the chair. She didn't hug me. She immediately flagged down a waitress. Hi, can I get a venti iced caramel macchiato with extra whip and oat milk? And one of those lemon poppy seed scones? Thanks. She turned back to me, her smile still perfectly in place. So, she said, as if we were just catching up, how are you? You look tired. I just looked at her. I didn't say anything. I know, she sighed, her smile faltering a little. I know things have been so weird. Mom is... She's just not herself, that whole heart attack thing. My God. She rolled her eyes like it was a wacky misunderstanding. She's just so stressed about the wedding. She went a little crazy. You know how she gets. She was dismissing it. She was hand-waving away the most horrific lie I had ever been told. She's fine, by the way, Maya added quickly. She's just really, really sorry and sad. She misses you. Why did you ask me here, Maya? I asked, my voice flat. I wasn't playing this game. Right. Okay, business. She leaned in, her voice dropping to a low and excited tone. So, you know I cut you out of the wedding, I figured. Yeah, well, I want to put you back in. I want you to be my maid of honor again. I miss my sister. I just stared. The thing is, she said, as her expensive coffee arrived. She took a long, loud sip. The thing is, we found the perfect house. It's in this amazing neighborhood. It's got a huge yard for the dogs we're going to get. It's our dream house, Chloe. She was talking so fast, her eyes shining. But the down payment it's a lot. And with the wedding and Mom and Dad being so weird about money right now, we just can't swing it. She paused. She looked me right in the eye, her smile sweeter than her drink. So I was thinking, you could help. We need $200,000 just for the down payment. You've been at your job for what, like 8 years now? You've always been so good at saving. I just know you have it put away somewhere, $200,000. She said it like she was asking for $20. She said it like it was nothing. This was their Hail Mary. The $40,000 lie didn't work, so now the $200,000 ask. I didn't move. I didn't speak. My mind flashed back over the last 15 years. Maya crying because she'd maxed out her credit card. Me sending her my grocery money. Maya crashing her car. Me co-signing the loan for a new one. Maya forgetting to pay her rent. Me covering it so she wouldn't get evicted. The $75,000, the HBO account, the $300 birthday check, the $6,000 wedding dress, the $40,000 heart attack lie, and now this, $200,000. I looked at my sister, this 28-year-old child in a designer coat, this stranger who I had spent my entire life trying to protect, and I felt nothing. The well was dry, the love was gone, it had all been scraped out, lie by lie, dollar by dollar. She was still looking at me, her smile expectant. No, I said. It was quiet, but it was the loudest sound in the room. Her smile vanished. It didn't fade. It shattered. What? She hissed. Number. I'm not giving you $200,000. You. Her face twisted. The sweet, bubbly girl was gone. A sour, ugly rage replaced her. You're kidding me. You're kidding me, right? Number. You're that selfish? She whispered, her voice full of venom. I'm your sister. I'm getting married. I'm trying to build a life. And you're just sitting on all your money? What are you even saving for, Chloe? You have nothing. You have no one. You're just sad and alone. A few people at the next table looked over. You've always been this way, she continued, her voice getting louder. You've always been jealous of me. You're jealous that I'm happy. You're jealous that I'm getting married, and you're just nothing. You are a cold, selfish, jealous bitch. She said it, the word she'd always wanted to say. I looked at her angry, contorted face. I didn't feel hurt. I didn't feel angry. I felt pity. I stood up. I reached into my purse and pulled out a $20 bill. I placed it on the table. That should cover my coffee, I said. And your drink. I realized in that moment I was still paying for her. One last time. Chloe! She shrieked as I turned. Don't you walk away from me. You are ruining this family. You are ruining my life. I walked out of the coffee shop. I didn't look back. The silence between us wasn't a punishment anymore. It was permanent. 2 days later, my father showed up at my apartment. I had just gotten home from work. I was unlocking my door when I heard his voice down the hall. "Chloe!" I froze. I hadn't seen him or heard his real voice since I blocked his number. He had used a different phone to text me, to summon me, but here he was. He looked older. He looked tired, but his eyes were hard. "We need to talk," he said, walking up to me. "We have nothing to talk about," I said, putting my key in the lock. He put his hand on the door, blocking me from opening it. "Don't you do this," he said, his voice low and threatening. "Don't you disrespect me. We are going to solve this, as a family. Get in the car, get your hand off my door, or I'm calling the police," I said. My voice didn't even shake. His eyes widened. He had never heard me use that tone before. He dropped his hand. "Your mother is in the car. So is Maya. We're going to the house. You are coming with us. We're going to have a family meeting and we are going to fix this. Right now." It wasn't a request. A part of me wanted to slam the door in his face, but I knew they wouldn't leave. They would sit outside my apartment all night. They would pound on the door. They would yell. "Fine," I thought. "Let's end it. Let's have the meeting." "Fine," I said. "I'll follow you. Get in our car. Number, I'll take my own." I needed an exit. I would not be trapped. He stared at me, then nodded. "Fine, don't you dare drive off." I followed their car back to my childhood home, the one I had paid parts of the mortgage on, the one where I had hidden in my room while Maya got praised. I walked in. It was an ambush. They were sitting in the living room in a semicircle, my father, my mother, and Maya, like a tribunal, like an intervention. And I was the one with the problem. I stood in the doorway. I didn't sit down. "Well," I said, "you have your meeting. Talk." My mother, Laura, burst into tears. It was her opening move. Full waterworks. "Chloe, how could you?" she sobbed, holding a tissue to her face. "I don't know what we did. I just don't know what we did to deserve this. We gave you everything. We loved you. And you threw us away like we're garbage." She looked at me, her eyes full of tears and accusation. "You're breaking my heart. You're killing your father. How can you be so cruel?" After my health scare, she was already rewriting the story. It wasn't a lie anymore. It was a health scare. "You abandoned me when I needed you most," she whispered. Then my father, Richard, stepped in. His turn. The angry, righteous patriarch. "I have worked my entire life for this family," he said, his voice rising. "I sacrificed. I gave you a roof over your head. I paid for your college. I paid for my own college," I said, my voice quiet. "Don't interrupt me," he roared. "I taught you right from wrong. I taught you what family means. And this is how you repay us? By disrespecting your mother? By abandoning your sister? You have a duty to this family, Chloe. We're ashamed of you. You've become hard. You've become cold. Finally, Maya, the professional victim." She just sniffled, looking down at her lap. I don't understand why you hate me so much," she whispered, tears rolling down her cheeks. "I've only ever loved you. I've always looked up to you. I just needed a little help, just a little, for my wedding, for my house, and you acted like I was a monster. You embarrassed me. You hate me." I stood there and I listened. I listened to the accusations, the guilt, the manipulation. The old Chloe would have been on the floor sobbing. The old Chloe would have been apologizing, begging for forgiveness. The old Chloe would have written a check for $200,000 just to make the yelling stop. But I wasn't the old Chloe. I was the one who had gathered the data, the one whose mother had faked a heart attack, the one who had been called a selfish, jealous bitch. I was just empty. I was observing them, like strangers, like three very bad actors in a very sad play. They were all looking at me, waiting for me to break. "Are you done?" I asked. My calmness infuriated them. My mother stood up. "No, we are not done. We are done with this, Chloe. This attitude. You are either in this family or you are out. And if you're in, you support this family, you help your sister, you respect your parents. If you can't support this family," she took a deep breath, playing her final card, "then maybe you're not part of it." This was it, the big threat, the one they had held over my head my whole life. "We will unlove you. We will cast you out." They expected me to beg. A small, faint smile touched my lips. I couldn't help it. "Then I'm out," I said. Their faces, shock. Pure, stunned, open-mouthed shock. They had no more moves. They had played their final card, and it didn't work. I let the silence sit there. I let them swim in their panic. And then I decided I was done with the experiment. I was done with the secret. It was time for the truth. "You want to know why I've been so cold?" I said. "You want to know why I won't give you $200,000? I looked at my mother, my sister, my father. "I won the lottery," I said, 9 months ago, the day before I called Eleanor Vance." Silence. A total, complete, pin-drop silence. The air left the room. Maya's mouth was hanging open. My dad's face went white. My mother's fake sobs stopped instantly. Her face went blank. "What?" my dad whispered. "I won $9.2 million, I said. And then, chaos. It wasn't anger, not yet. It was a different sound. A gasp. Maya let out a sharp, hysterical laugh. You're joking. I'm not joking," I said. "Oh my God," Maya screamed. She wasn't angry anymore. She was vibrating with excitement. "Oh my God, $9 million! Chloe, oh my God!" My mother's face, it was the most terrifying thing I'd ever seen. The sad mask melted away. The angry mask melted away. All that was left was a raw, naked, ecstatic greed. "Oh, Chloe," she cried. But these were real tears of joy. "My baby, we're rich. Richard, we're rich. I knew you'd take care of us. I knew it. You were just stressed." They rushed me. They all rushed toward me, trying to hug me. "Oh, Chloe, we forgive you. We forgive you." I put my hands up. "Don't touch me." But they weren't listening. They were already spending the money. The intervention was over. The anger was gone. The sadness was gone. It was a party. "Oh my God, Chloe, the house." Maya was screaming. She was literally jumping up and down. "The $200,000 is nothing. We can just buy it. We can buy it outright. And a new car. I want a G-Wagon. Oh my God, and the wedding. We can fly everyone to Italy. We can..." She was pacing, her hands flapping, her eyes wide and wild. She was already on her phone, probably looking at Zillow. "Laura, calm down," my father was saying, but he was grinning from ear to ear. He was running his hands through his hair. "We have to be smart about this. $9 million. My God, Chloe, this sets us up. This sets the family up. For life, we have to invest it. We can pay off the mortgage." My mother was just weeping. She was clutching her chest, looking up at the ceiling. "We can retire," she whispered. "Richard, we can retire. I can get that new kitchen. I can get a new car. I'm rich." They were a whirlwind of greed. It was the ugliest, most terrifying thing I had ever witnessed. They talked about me. They talked around me. They grabbed my arms. But not one of them, not one, said, "Chloe, that's amazing." Not one of them said, "Wow, that must have been such a shock for you." Not one of them said, "You deserve this." They just started spending. They didn't ask. They didn't once ask, "What are you going to do with it, Chloe?" It wasn't my money. In their minds, it was their money. It was the family money. And I was just the one who happened to have bought the ticket. I watched them. I just stood in the doorway and watched them spin out, their eyes shining, their voices high and giddy. I let the smoke of their greed fill the entire room. I let it choke me. This was the final test. This was the moment of truth. They weren't my family. They were a pack of jackals. I waited for Maya to take a breath. "Stop," I said. They didn't hear me. "Stop talking," I said louder. The room went quiet. They all stopped and looked at me, annoyed. Their party had been interrupted. "What, honey?" my mother said, smiling, dabbing her real tears of joy. "What is it? We're just so happy. We're so happy for you, for us." I looked at them, one by one, Maya with her phone in her hand, ready to buy a mansion. My father already planning his retirement portfolio. My mother already redecorating her new kitchen. "I'm not giving you any of it," I said. The smiles froze. They stayed on their faces, but they were frozen. It was horrifying. "What?" Maya laughed, a short, nervous bark. "What do you mean? Don't be weird, Chloe. This isn't funny." "I'm not being funny," I said, my voice as calm and as clear as a winter morning. "I'm not giving you a single dollar." The air pressure in the room changed. The joy didn't just fade. It turned. It curdled. My mother's face went from ecstatic joy to a dark purple rage. "What did you say?" she whispered. Maya dropped her phone. You, she hissed, her face white. "You're lying. You let us. You stood there and lied to us. You've had millions for months. You let me beg you for $6,000. You let Mom. You let her. Oh my God." She was lunging at me. My dad had to grab her arm. "You're a monster," Maya shrieked, fighting against him. "You're a sociopath. I hate you." My mother was the scariest. She wasn't moving. She was just staring at me, her whole body shaking. "You," she said, her voice a low growl I had never heard. "You would stand there and let your own mother lie about dying just to get a piece of what you stole from us? I am your mother. You owe us. You owe us everything." Then my dad let go of Maya. He stepped toward me. "You're going to let your mother work until she dies?" he said, his voice thick with guilt. "You're going to let your sister start her marriage in debt? After everything we did for you? What kind of person are you? We are your family." I finally felt free. I looked at their ugly, greedy, desperate faces. "You're right," I said. "You are my family, and you taught me everything I know." I looked at my mother. "You taught me that love is conditional. You taught me that it has to be earned or paid for." I looked at my sister. "You taught me that I was just a service, an ATM, something to be used." I looked at my father. "And you taught me that family means looking the other way." I stood up straight. I wasn't crying. I wasn't yelling. I was just done. "You taught me that money was the only love you understood," I said, "so I'm done loving you." I turned around. The chaos that erupted behind me was a noise I will never forget. It was screaming, cursing, pleading. "Chloe, don't you dare walk out that door. You'll regret this. You'll be nothing without us. Chloe, wait, we can talk about this. $1 million, just $1 million. My mother grabbed my arm, her nails digging into my skin. I ripped my arm away from her. I opened the front door. I stepped out. I closed it behind me on their screaming faces. I got in my old sedan. I locked the doors, and I drove away from that house for the last time in my life. The drive from their house to my apartment was silent. I didn't turn on the radio. I just listened to the sound of my old car's engine. When I got inside, I locked the deadbolt. My phone started to explode. Texts, voicemails, from numbers I didn't recognize. My father, my mother, my sister, using their friends' phones. The messages were a blur of rage and pathetic begging. "You are a demon. I hope you die alone. Chloe, please, just $100,000 for your sister. Please, I'm begging you." You have killed your mother. She's in the hospital. This is your fault. I knew she wasn't in the hospital. It was just one last pathetic lie. I turned my phone off. The next morning, I went and got a new number. My mother didn't give up. A week later, there was a pounding on my apartment door. Chloe, Elizabeth Evans, you open this door. I am your mother. You are not doing this to me, she yelled for 20 minutes. My neighbors came into the hall. I sat on my floor, my back against the door, and waited for her to go away. She came back the next day. The day after that, she was in the parking lot of my work. She tried to block my car, screaming at me through the window, her face red and contorted. That was the last line. I called Eleanor. The next day I sat in a cold, gray courthouse. I filled out a form. I filed for a restraining order against my mother, Laura Evans. It was the hardest and most necessary thing I have ever signed. It was the legal end of our relationship. It was a piece of paper that said, "You cannot come near me. You cannot hurt me anymore." With Eleanor's help, I moved fast. Within 3 months, I was gone. I quit my job. I sold my old sedan. I sold my furniture. I took one suitcase and a carry-on bag. I got on a train. I didn't fly. I wanted to see the country move past me. I wanted to feel the distance growing. I moved to Seattle. I found a quiet apartment in a tall building. It's not a mansion. It's just a simple 2-bedroom place, but it overlooks Puget Sound. And it is the first place that has ever felt like home. I started over. I didn't need to work, but I did. I got a simple part-time job at a nonprofit that supports literacy programs. I spent most of my time with Eleanor setting up my new life. We created an airtight estate plan. We set up a foundation. My family's name is not on a single document. They will never, ever see a single cent. When I die, every dollar will go to other people, to charities for domestic abuse survivors, to scholarships for first-generation college students in Pennsylvania, to shelters for the homeless, to paying off the medical bills of complete strangers. Last week, I got a letter. It was from a woman whose cancer treatment I had paid for, anonymously. Her name was Brenda. She was a receptionist. She wrote, "I don't know who you are, but you saved my life. You gave me back to my grandchildren. Thank you." I cried when I read it. They were the first happy tears I had cried in years. I am still the responsible one, but now I am responsible for people who understand gratitude. I am taking care of people, but it is on my terms. It is my choice. It's been a year now. I'm sitting in my apartment. The sun is coming up over the water. It's quiet. I have $9.2 million. But the money isn't what saved me. The money was just a tool. It was a magnifying glass. It showed me the truth I had been too afraid to see. My family was right. I am selfish. I finally learned to be selfish with my own life. My mother was right too. Family is a sacrifice. But I finally learned that you should never have to sacrifice yourself. The money didn't buy my happiness. The boundaries did. My phone is on the table next to me. It's quiet. No one is begging. No one is yelling. No one needs anything from me. It's just quiet. And I am finally at peace. They taught me that blood isn't family. Kindness is.